You're listening to Technically a Conversation, a Dan Gone Down There podcast where we share an interesting topic or story with each other and hope you find it interesting as well. I'm one half of your low-hung host, Jose, and I'm joined, as always, by my lovely Southern Belle, Isela. How's the bell of Texas ringing today?
Howdy, y'all.
All right, let's get this dog and pony show on the road, shall we?
We shall, y'all.
So, Isela, have you ever seen a horse before?
I have seen a horse, yes.
Have you ever ridden one before?
I have ridden one.
While riding the horse, did you ever cosplay as a cowgirl?
No. I felt like one.
Have you ever worn a cowboy hat?
I'm sure I have, yeah.
Do you know if it was a Stetson that you were wearing?
I don't know that. Sorry.
Okay.
Why?
Well, originally the idea for this topic came to my mind because I was remembering the Kmart value brand Stetson.
Oh, right.
They made everything from cheap cologne to cheap clothing that I don't ever remember seeing anyone wearing in real life.
Yeah.
And was wondering what had happened to that brand. Now that Kmart is on its deathbed, on life support, signaling kill me in Morse code with its head over and over again, like one from Metallica.
I was thinking that. SOS. Yeah.
Well, surprisingly, that brand still exists, but it's no longer the value brand that one would once scoff at. On the Kmart website, which is still live and doesn't immediately 404 on you, you'd be hard-pressed to find many Stetson items under $100.
Wow.
The cheapest item on that site is a Stetson newsboy cap for $17 if you're wanting to cosplay as an old-timey cab driver, but the prices go up quickly from there.
Oh, wow.
The cheapest belt buckle will run you $40.
What?
Yeah. If you want to be a baller like little Troy, the most expensive item on the Kmart website is a Stetson leather jacket for $570.
Oh, my gosh. You might as well buy the cow.
Yeah, right.
That's insane.
And the amazing part about it is it's not as horrid as most Western wear has the potential to be. Now, I'm not going to lie. Originally, I kind of wanted to shit on this brand. And even though I'm still not a fan, their history is pretty interesting. So I'm going to share a little bit of their history with you. And since I still associate Stetson with Kmart, I'll share a fun fact about Kmart with you at the end as well. So my source for this topic is It's the Stetson Name, the success story behind the classic American cowboy by Anjoli Francis and Eric Nolat from abcnews.com. From Washington, this is ABC News. And wikitree.com for some of the genealogy.
This is going to be exciting because I also remember the Stetson brand, but I didn't realize that it kind of like rose like a phoenix from its ashes.
Well, their story is very interesting, and I'm going to share a little bit of that with you, and you'll see it's going to be kind of a roller coaster. But before I do, we're going to need to start at the beginning, so we're going to need to go back in time. So I've commissioned the help of friend of the show, Barry Allen, to help us out. So put on your cowboy boots and your chaps, grab your leather vest, and don't forget your Party City Stetson hat. Barry, take us back to 1865.
Just gotta go faster than the speed of light, far beyond the speed of light. You gotta break the rule, Barry, and you gotta do it now.
Okay, so we're in 1865. So let me paint the picture to you of what's going on right now. It's the peak of the gold rush. Congress passes the 13th Amendment abolishing slavery in America.
Excellent.
Abraham Lincoln urges a spirit of generous conciliation during Reconstruction. Shortly after, sadly, he is shot in the head by John Wilkes Booth at Ford's Theater in Washington, and he dies 9 hours after the fatal shot.
Wow.
Union General Gordon Granger declares slaves are free in Texas, and this is now celebrated across the U.S. as Juneteenth. The Salvation Army is founded. The first edition of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll is published. Joseph Lister performs the first antiseptic surgery. And our boy John B. Stetson founded the Stetson Company.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of things going on, right?
Yeah, this is really cool.
Stetson had just recovered from a bout of tuberculosis in Missouri and decided to move out west. On his way, he realized that people had inadequate headwear, and at this time, people were just using whatever they could find to protect themselves from the sun while on their journeys. So Stetson saw an opportunity and started making hats, though he wasn't the first person in his family to make them.
Right.
His father, Stephen Stetson III, made hats out of his own hat company. And you're going to love the name of his company. It sounds very hipsterish, although we're still in the 1800s, so hipsters haven't been invented yet.
Right.
But the name of Stephen Stetson III's hat company was the No Name Hat Company.
The No Name? He needs to bring that back.
Yep.
That's pretty gangster.
I liked it. I was like, that's dope. I like it.
That is.
So if you think that's great, his creativity in naming didn't stop with his hat company. Check out the name of some of his children, and he had a shitload of them.
Oh, no.
So the first kids were Henry Thomas and Louisa. Pretty normal, right?
Sure.
Next child, Napoleon Bonaparte Stetson. The next couple are the next few here, the next half dozen here are pretty normal.
Holy crap. This poor wife.
I know. Martha Ann Stetson, Olivia M., Caroline, John Batterson, that's our boy, George Arthur, Sarah Josephine, Charles Walter, Elizabeth Amelia, and my favorite, Isaac Newton Stetson.
Shut up. This is so awesome. How many kids did he have? I feel like you were reading a roster of like a class.
It did, right? It was actually 12 kids.
That poor woman. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And just in doing the research, I actually found out a lot of interesting facts about Stephen. So I have a couple of fun facts about him. He was born in 1796 and died in 1878.
Wow.
He was married to Susanna Batterson, who we know he had the litter of 12 kids with. He was a very successful hat maker in his own right. By 1846, he had accumulated 50,000, which in 2021 money is 1.7 million. Stephen was considered the most successful hat maker of his time.
Wow.
At the age of 50, he decided to retire from the business to enjoy life. He sold his prosperous business and invested the money into a different business. And sadly, I couldn't find any information about what business he invested in. And when Stephen died at the age of 82, he was penniless and bankrupt.
Oh my God, he was like MC Hammer. No, I mean, he's still alive, but I heard he kind of whittled away his money.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, wow.
So let's go back to our boy, John B. So he started making his hats the same way that his father made them, and he sold his hats for $5. Now, adjusted for inflation, they would cost $82.58 in today's money. And that's actually still kind of a bargain considering that the current price of a Stetson hat ranges from $100 to $1,605.
Oh my goodness. What the heck are those things made of? But I guess maybe they're made like by hand or something. I don't even know. Okay. And then, sorry.
No.
So many questions.
No, I'll actually talk a little bit about that. Not about the hat processing, the hat making process, but about the factory in a little bit. But we're still in the 1800s.
Yes.
So we're going to fast forward a little bit. So by 1900, he had the largest hat factory in the world, and a school, and a gym, and his factory in Philadelphia employed over 5,500 people and had a doctor on site.
Dude, that's pretty sweet.
That's crazy, huh?
Wow, that's pretty sweet. At least he treated his employees right, too, it sounds like.
That I don't really have that much information about.
Well, he's got a doctor on site. He's like, you sick? Come to the doctor.
True. And actually, it gets a lot more elaborate than that. It's crazy, this factory. And I'm going to share a little bit of that information with you. But before I do, we're going to get Barry Allen to transport us back to the present time so we can do an ad for one of our fine sponsors. since the technology and companies we're doing an ad for haven't been invented yet. Also, I stepped in so much horse shit while showing you around the 1800s that I can't wait to hose these boots off and put on my $20 Walmart bootleg Yeezys.
Yeah.
So
my spurs got full of some horse poop.
Yeah. Well, we'll hose
spurs.
We'll hose them off right now. When you go back to 2021. So Barry, take us home and stay tuned for one of our fine sponsors.
You don't have to go through a boom tube to get a Gradney Goodness tube steak. 100% beef for 100% goodness. We have something to please even the snootiest of appetites. Try our classic hot dog or hot sausage for something that's filling while on the run. Or our beef patty when you want to enjoy your meat snack with two hands. And for our vegan friends, our hot pretzel is sure to satisfy. Our prices are something your wallet will also like. The all-beef Granny Goodness Franks are only $1, 2 for $1.75, and the hot sausages are only $1.50. Price and participation vary. Tax not included. See our food cards for details. Serving the greater Central City downtown area. Member DCEU.
And now, back to the show.
Oh, man. So how does it feel to be back in present time?
It smells a lot better. I will say that.
It does. Certainly does.
I'm very much about the smells.
I thought it was the time travel that was making me a little queasy, but I think it might have been the smell. I don't think I've ever seen so much horse shit in my life.
Yeah, it makes you really appreciate Henry Ford inventing that vehicle.
All right, so let's wrap this baby up. So the Stetson Company factory is now located in Texas, like my Texas Belle Isela.
Yes.
Garland, Texas, to be exact.
Oh.
But, and there's a big Kardashian but.
Oh.
Put a pin on this because we're going to come back to this.
All right.
Long gone are the days of 5,500 employees, a doctor, a school, a gym, a pear tree. They now employ about 200 workers, or they did in 2019, pre-COVID, but this is Texas and Greg Abbott is the governor, so hopefully everyone is okay.
Yeah.
But their 200 workers make roughly 1 million felt and straw hats every year.
Wow.
They pride themselves in being 100% American made and that their quality is so high that 100 sets of hands go into the making and shaping of each hat.
Very cool.
Very cool, right?
Yeah.
So now you know why some of them cost over $1,000.
That's insane, though. I mean, if it's made out of like beaver pelts, some kind of rare beaver, okay, then that makes sense. But I don't think they're making it out of that.
Yeah, maybe Sharon Stone's beaver and Fatal Attraction.
Well, I don't know if we would still want that. Like, keep your old beaver.
Yeah. No, sorry. Really bad joke.
Yeah.
So how much, if you were to buy a Stetson hat, you said, let's say you wanted to go for, the name and all that.
Right.
What would be the max that you would be willing to pay?
I have heard that they're on the pricier end of like cowboy hats. I think I probably would have, if I'm paying for someone that really appreciates it.
If you're gonna buy one for yourself,
for me,
like what would be the max that you would be willing to pay for a cowboy hat?
For something to stay on my head, maybe a couple $100.
Oh wow,
max.
Well, I'm sure you could probably get a really nice Stetson hat for that.
I gotta love it too.
For $200, definitely.
That's not really my wardrobe either. A lot of beanies, which are also lovely, and about $10. So that's quite a
How
jump.
much would you pay for a Stetson beanie?
What? I have too many beanies.
No, as far as I know, they don't make Stetson beanies, but
Right.
you know, if you want to look like the singer from AC/DC, you can buy a cabbie hat for $17.
I didn't realize that they made those. That's pretty interesting. I do like those little cabbie, those little like newspaper boy hats, right? Yeah.
Yeah, now I know what to get you for Christmas then. Get you a $17 cabbie hat from Stetson.
Yeah. Nice. Might as
No,
well.
I'm kidding.
Then I'll get you some Spurs. I got Spurs.
Oh, yeah, because I left mine in 1865, so.
Yeah, you can't leave home without them.
Nope.
What if you want to kick somebody in the huevos?
I was going to say, we can always get Barry to take us back, but I think that's kind of a lot just to get some Spurs.
Yeah, no. I'm sure we can find some.
So some of the famous people who have worn Stetson hats.
Ooh.
Roll call.
Do it.
Buffalo Bill. Will Rogers. Annie Oakley. James Dean. Roy Rogers. Ronald Reagan.
Wow.
And even Indiana Jones.
Oh, Indiana Jones, that was a Stetson?
That's a Stetson. That hat that he wears in the movie is a Stetson.
Oh, my goodness.
Which, honestly, I think that was like the most incredible part of this, doing all this research is finding that out.
That
was
is
wearing
definitely a very cool fun fact, especially because everyone remembers the hat that never either falls off or he just never loses it or it falls off and then he finds it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. I have to share that even with my parents because they love those movies.
So I do have some fun facts. You know, I always like to end each episode with some fun facts.
Yeah, yeah.
So these are from Mental Floss, an article by Jeff Wells. So in 1865, when Stetson started his company, he did with $60 that he borrowed from his sister Louisa. And that would be $990 in today money. In 2012, when the Stetson hat that belonged to Annie Oakley was sold at auction, how much do you think that went for?
Annie Oakley's pretty famous. And then she's one of the, well, okay, at auction, people always set the price, not necessarily what it's worth. So I would imagine it's got to be like above $800.
Easily.
Okay, above 300.
Way easily above 300. It was above 800, so it's going to be above 300.
Oh,
easily.
sorry, I meant to say 1,300. What the hell?
You're pretty close. It was actually 18,000.
18,000.
Which is about 21,000 in today money.
For a hat.
Not just any hat.
True.
It's the hat that belonged to Annie Oakley.
That is pretty sweet. I hope somebody has that on display somewhere.
And I'm going to confess, I've heard the name Annie Oakley, but I have no idea who she is.
Do you want me to tell you the little stuff that I know?
Sure. I'll let you share a fun fact in my fun facts.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
The only thing that I know is that she was like this master kind of like marksman that she shot with like extreme precision. And it was really rare because it was a woman. Yeah.
Okay. So Stetson's first hat was called the Boss of the Plains and was waterproof. Early advertisements showed a cowboy using it as a bucket to water his horse.
Wow. And it was called the Boss?
The Boss of the Plains.
The Boss of the Plains. Yeehaw. Oh, so Plains, Plains.
Yes.
I was like, the Boss of Plains, they had planes? Like all over the place.
I don't think the Wright brothers had invented one yet.
Interesting.
Could be wrong, but I haven't fact-checked it, and I'd rather not say something dumb that'll be recorded in a podcast.
It's okay. That's still super interesting that they were like, okay, you can use it as a hat, and then you can also water your
horse with
it. What the hell?
And I'm assuming what they mean by water the horse is give the horse water to drink.
Right.
Because I don't think it's going to grow anymore if you water it.
Yeah, no. I don't think it's quite like a plant. No, not really working like that.
But that's the way that they described it. They described it as watering your horse.
That is cool.
Okay, so remember the Stetson factory in Philadelphia?
Yes.
With the 5,500 employees, a doctor, school, gym.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was much more elaborate than that. It was freaking crazy.
What?
It was actually a self-sufficient community. They had their own bank, restaurants, a library. They even had a hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was almost like a little Jonestown, a little cult or something. That's
Yeah, it was like being
insane.
like in Marfa or something.
Yeah. Wow. That's insane.
In the 20th century,
Mm-hmm.
Stetson began diversifying and they started making dress hats, women's hats, fedoras, Panama hats, etc. In 1947, they had their biggest year and made $29 million in sales.
Wow.
That's $350 million today.
Wow, that's a lot of money. Just in hats.
Just in hats.
Oh my goodness, we're in the wrong biz. I'm just
Well, actually, we might be in the right one because in the late 1950s, hats started coming out of style.
Oh.
And by 1968, the company only made $8 million,
Ooh,
which is about $62 million today,
right.
which that's still a shit ton of money.
True.
But that was a 70% drop from their peak.
Wow. That's rough. That's a big drop.
Now, the company no longer belongs to the Stetson family. Ira Gillen, a majority stockholder, took control of the company in 1968. The Stetson family eventually shut down their manufacturing facilities, and from that point forward, Stetson only existed in name as a licensing company. So to do a 360-degree turn all the way to the beginning of the story, a bunch of products started to be made under the Stetson name, from sunglasses, cheap cologne, luggage, belts, boots, jeans, shirts, all the other junk that you would find at Kmart in years of old. And that's the Kmart fun fact that I promised you. Like FedEx, I delivered.
Yes. Wow.
Now, remember the Garland, Texas factory that I told you to put a pin on?
Right. We're circling back.
Well, that factory actually belongs to a company named Hatco. And in addition to the Stetson hats that they so proudly make, they also make hats for competing brands like Resistol, Dobbs, and Charlie One Horse.
Oh, so now this factory is not just a one brand factory.
No. It's kind of like that company that makes all those glasses for like every single company, that Italian company that they make the cheapest glasses all the way to the most expensive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Glasses like drinkware or glasses like eyewear?
Like eyewear.
Oh, geez, don't say that.
Yeah, there's one company that makes every single pair of glasses. Well, I don't know if it's every single, but they make the majority of them. Yeah.
Nice. We're just overpaying, just like we like to.
Yep. And oui, merci, ja terminé. That's it.
Was very cool. That was super interesting. I really need to share that information with my parents because I think my dad's going to like it. I know my grandpa on my mom's end always wore a hat, and it was the same cowboy hat all the time. So I figured it was like his favorite, or I don't know if somebody special gave it to him, or, you know, what the heck the deal was. But now it's going to make me want to open up that conversation with my mom.
Yeah. It's the same with my mom's side of the family. They always dress like, well, not all of them. There's like a particular sect of my mom's side of the family that they always dress up like if they just stepped out of Star Western wear.
Oh, that's
like
so
they look
cute.
like a freaking commercial.
That's so cute. I think it's really interesting how back in the day when that was, I guess, obviously booming in the 40s, everybody just really embraced that culture. And later on, there was another revival with like the Westerns, you know, the Clint Eastwood type of movies and stuff like that. I feel like that also gave it probably another push just because I remember seeing it. My dad loved all those movies.
Yeah, I think back in the day, it was very practical what they would wear.
Yep.
Like the jeans, they were very resistant to tearing and ripping, which was important because they were out in the fields doing whatever work they were doing with their steers and their herds and all that.
Right.
And the cowboy hats definitely helped to protect them from the sun. Now I think more than anything, it's, I mean, I'm sure there's still, well, I'm positive there's still like real cowboys out there.
For sure.
But I think for a lot of them, especially for like the ones on my mom's side of the family, more than anything, it's like a fashion or what they consider being good fashion in their eyes.
Right.
You know, more than being practical.
We can even think about like 3 years ago or whenever that song came out by Lil Nas X.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he kind like tried to really thrust that cowboy thing back into pop culture because I remember right after him wearing the, the whole, I can't even remember what the hell the name of the song was, but I feel like everybody knows it.
Something road, well, long time road.
Yeah. Gonna ride till I can't no more. Something like that. That's definitely what I remember. But anyway, he wore like the full, like he had chaps on. He had the cowboy hat on. My daughter and I got to see him at an iHeartRadio festival.
Was he wearing assless chaps?
I couldn't tell
He didn't
from
look
where
like
we
Blackie
were.
Lawless from Wasp with the assless chaps.
No. No, maybe later that night he was probably wearing the assless chaps. So, and then after he made that song, Halsey came out with a song too. And Halsey came out in like the cowboy hat and like a little vest and stuff like that. And, kind of did that whole thing too.
Very interesting.
I find that very interesting too, because there was a small push and I feel like they were pushed back. It didn't quite happen.
No. I don't think we're ready for that yet.
I certainly hope not, because I don't look good in a cowboy hat.
I do not either.
Right.
All right, so this was a shorty but goodie.
Yeah, this was definitely a good one. No, we're like at a good time. This is a half hour.
Yeah.
This is not a shorty. It's a regular.
That's our goal, always is half an hour.
Yeah, well, I agree. I think that's our time span. That's our attention time span for most of us.
Very true. So we hope that you enjoyed the show and you join us again next week. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever fine podcasts are sold. Follow us on the gram and the tweets at greetingstac. Email us at greetingstac@gmail.com. And like we just found out last week, TAC stands for technically a conversation.
Yep.
Or new peeps. Leave us a voicemail at 915-317-6669 if you have a story to share with us.
And you might be highlighted too.
Yeah.